Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Cars with Big Boy Trev. I am Big Boy Trev and today we have something amazing courtesy of Hyundai, the brand new Tucson top of the range 2-liter turbo diesel. But first things first, let's check out the highlights of today's show. This week on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we take a look at the Hyundai Tucson, Korea's answer to the fierce soft-roader contest in the used car segment. We check out its design and styling, practicality, engine performance, and its value for money proposition against its well-established rivals like the Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V. Catch this and much more only on Cars with Big Boy Trev this Sunday at 5 p.m. only on NTV. In our ongoing series of choosing the best soft-roader in the used car segment, we take a closer look at the Hyundai Tucson. Question is it a viable alternative to the current segment leaders? Let's find out. So guys, today on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we are sampling a familiar brand, the Hyundai Tucson, and I can tell you for a fact it is playing in a category where there's so much competition. We previously reviewed the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace. Also, we've done the Mazda CX-5, but the question is, what has Hyundai done to enhance the package of the brand new Hyundai Tucson? So this is the 2021 version of the Hyundai Tucson, and we're going to start this review by taking a look at the minor changes that Hyundai have done to ensure that this particular vehicle offers absolute value for money. We start with the front profile design. As you can see, this particular grille, honeycomb, hexagonal, of course with this stainless steel plastic trim, gives this car that premiumness that you saw design. Of course, there's that color-coded bumper with this black strip, the bottom lip of the bumper, again denoting that this particular car is sporty enough and of course still is able to go and do a bit of off-roading, which is very important in this particular segment. And as you can see, of course, the headlamps have been enhanced, trapezoidal, and they're wrapping all the way around with the LED daytime running lights, just to give this car that signature look that everybody is doing, from Volkswagen to Mazda and many others in this particular category. Again, the design face, again, very Hyundai, fluid motion, as they call it in their design language. And Peter Schreier, who was in charge of Volkswagen for many years, have now employed this particular design on this particular car. Makes it look amazing. Now, as you can see, moving to the side profile, again, a lot of Hyundai signature design. As you can see, fluidity in motion. These lines, these bold lines on the bonnet, and of course extends all the way to this particular fender. Now, it also runs from this wheel arc over here, extends all the way this hip line to the back, again denoting performance and power. That is something so important. And not forgetting this particular black cladding that's on the fender, goes the way to the door seal, all the way to the back, again denoting that this particular car can do a little bit of off-roading. If you're a person who likes doing a bit of short road trips to up country, again, this Tucson is a car for you. Of course, as you can see, we cannot forget this chrome strip, again denoting it's premium enough. So Hyundai have taken time to develop and design this particular vehicle so that it has that premium look and feel that's now in the category of soft roaders. Now, as you move to the back, you can see what Hyundai have done. They have tried to create a sporty image of the Tucson. Again, the sloping roofline comes all the way down and of course has infused diffuser that extends all the way to this rear tailgate. Again, infused to the body, still giving this car that je ne sais quoi and showing that it's still a sporty crossover. And of course, you can see the subtle design touches that Hyundai have done. They've added a piano black finish on the lower part of this rear diffuser, again giving this car that je ne sais quoi we keep on talking about. It matches the windscreen that is darkened out, again, black and white. I'm telling you, what a better combination to put in such a car of this stage. And now, as you can see on the rear tailgate, again, it's tapered off with an edge over here. And of course, you have the massive Hyundai logo, which by the way means two people shaking hands. By the way, that's what the Hyundai logo means. And of course, you do have the letters Tucson and the H-Track, which is the all-wheel drive version of this particular car, in 2-liter turbo diesel that's on the engine. We're going to discuss that much later. And the lower part of the bumper as well, you do have this bottom diffuser over here. It's blackened out, again giving this car that je ne sais quoi, also telling you that this particular car can do a bit of off-roading. But it's time to find out if the cabin matches the profile, the styling cues of the exterior. Let's step inside and see what the cabin is all about. Now, let's take a look at this particular dashboard. As I said earlier, it's got the forward cab design, which basically means placing the dashboard further away from the occupants to create an illusion of space. And you've seen that with the Mazda CX-5 and the Volkswagen Tiguan All-Space I previewed earlier on. Again, the design of the dashboard is two-tone with a rib in the middle. So basically on top you have soft touch plastic. In the middle you do have a section where you have also soft touch plastic, and again with stitched leather. And then of course to complement that whole rib is the air vents with stainless steel. They're rectangular with that stainless steel strip that gives this car that je ne sais quoi we keep on talking about on cars with Big Boy Trev. And of course at the lower part is again an area where you do have the glove box and also all the certain elements of the design face of this particular car. It has actually a V motif design, which is very interesting. It shows that these guys were actually thinking when they're designing this particular vehicle. Now the highlight of this particular dashboard is this 10-inch tablet-style design multimedia information system, which is HD high definition and can play quite a number of things. And of course it supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. So basically it's an extension of your phone that helps you to improve your connectivity and your productivity while on the road. That is something amazing that Hyundai have done. So making sure that you're able to pair your phone, you're able to read your messages, send messages, call people, do maps, navigation, everything that your phone can do is now capable courtesy of this multimedia information system. And top it up, of course, you do have some piano black finish and some stainless steel trim on top just to give this car that je ne sais quoi we keep on talking about. Now, the audio system can support radio, which is standard, and then Bluetooth connectivity, USB connectivity, and an auxiliary port, which you actually find right here if you're a person who loves the Apple domain. If you love Apple products and you're able to key in your iPod and listen to music and do all sorts of things courtesy of this particular system. Again, navigation that works here in Kenya, and of course you can pair your phone and you're able to pick calls and use voice control as standard in this particular vehicle. Now let's move right below it. You do have the dual zone climate control. In this particular category, not everybody is doing dual zone climate control, so Hyundai have actually included the dual zone climate control system in this Tucson to ensure that the passenger and the driver have own individual settings so they're able to remain cool, calm and collected at any given time. And obviously right below it you actually have a bit of settings as well. You have two 12-volt sockets. You can power your devices, so your iPad, your laptop, whatever it is, a USB port, and of course you do also have wireless charging right here that is now coming in as standard. So if your phone has wireless charging, then you'll be able to charge your device quite easily in the Hyundai Tucson. And let's move on to the gearbox console. This is where you see the traditional gearbox, which has Tiptronic functionality to allow you to select and deselect gears quite easily to explore the full potential of the 2-liter turbo diesel that's in front right here. I'm going to show you that later on. And obviously, there's no handbrake. So basically what they've done, they've reduced the number of buttons. So you do have electronic park brake that comes as standard. And of course, hill descent control, auto hold during traffic, you don't need to step on the brake all the time, and of course the different driver modes, so sporty, comfort and economy. We're going to toggle through those settings and we're going to see how the engine response is with this particular setting. And of course you can see there are two cup holders, one big, one small, and of course somewhere you can hide your keys and your valuables. Then of course as you extend all the way to the center console, again you have a deep console where you can actually hide your valuables and actually put your keys, your cell phone and even your wallet, so away from prying eyes, which is very, very important. Now, let's move on to the instrument pinnacle. Now, this is where matters get interesting because I should think that right now we're in the era of the digital cockpit. But now, what Hyundai have done is fuse the analog dials with the digital cockpit display. So basically, on the left-hand side, you do have the tachometer. On the right-hand side, you have the speedometer. And in between the two, you do have the fuel and the temperature gauges, and in between you do have a monochrome display that gives you all the vital information that you so desire when you're driving this Hyundai Tucson. So if the door is open, the range, when the service interval that is due, any critical information that the engine perceives is important to the driver is displayed right here on this particular cockpit. Again, the design is amazing. The italics are clear and precise. You don't need to struggle to see what is happening inside because the italics are so clear, and with the background of blue and red, again gives this car that je ne sais quoi we keep on talking about on cars with Big Boy Trev. As you can see, the steering wheel as well, very comfortable. It has leather strapped as well, just giving it a very smooth and comfortable feel on the hands. Of course, it has satellite buttons on the left-hand side. Anything to do with this multimedia information system is possible. So voice control, controlling the volume, picking up your phone, hanging up, and of course the different modes. So the source mode, so USB, Bluetooth, auxiliary, you name it, able to toggle through the different settings on this left-hand side of the satellite buttons. On the right-hand side, anything to do with this multimedia information system, this particular display, and of course cruise control that comes as standard in this Hyundai Tucson. Now let's talk about the seats on the Hyundai Tucson. I'm 6'1", and this seat is set to my position, and I can tell you I'm as comfortable as it can be. Electronically adjusted power seats, both front, can allow you to adjust the seat to your best support, and of course you do have lumbar support as well, so that your back is relaxed during long drives. Again, you can adjust the steering wheel as well. You have both tilt and telescopic, so depending on your height, you're able to adjust the seating preference to ensure that you have full command of this Hyundai Tucson, be it on and off-road. Again, as I can tell you, what they have done is to ensure that the Hyundai Tucson has plenty of cubby holes and spaces all over the place. Door bins, you do have a glove compartment with plenty of stuff, and of course you do have wireless charging I mentioned earlier. But the question still remains, how good is the space at the back? Let's move to the back and see the seating position, the space, the practicality of the boot, and then you go out and drive this Hyundai Tucson. Now moving over to the back, you can see that Big Boy Trev is very comfortable. I'm 6'1", and the front seat has been set to my setting. When I sit at the back, there's plenty of leg and headroom, and that is so important because even taller passengers can enjoy the back seat of the Hyundai Tucson. Not forgetting the middle passengers as well. Because the transmission tunnel is not intrusive, you're able to sit here quite comfortably, and they can actually spread their legs and be able to relax and enjoy the ride of this particular vehicle. And of course you do have headrest, which also adds that extra value in as far as giving comfort is concerned, and not forgetting whiplash as well. Now, in case you're just only sitting two people, you can remove the armrest, and you're able to extract it and make sure that you're able to sit very comfortably. And of course you can sip your drinks right here because you have two cup holders. If you're wondering how will I charge my device, well, I'm in the Tucson, well, you do have a USB port over here, so you're able to charge your device as long as you're in the Tucson. You're able to do that, including the ones in the front. So there are more than enough sockets to ensure that your devices are charged at any given time. And of course this particular vehicle has anchor isofix to put your child seat, which is very important to secure your baby in case of an accident. So you're able to do that. Remember, babies are supposed to be at the back. Any child that's below 12 years, the position is at the back, so the child seats are supported, and of course the anchor points ensure that they lock in and ensure that your baby is safe at any given time. So let's move to the back and see what the Hyundai Tucson is all about. So as I open the soft touch opening, again it reveals a massive boot space, 400 liters of space that can carry up to 5 large suitcases. And of course the boot lip is flat, so you're able to remove and put in anything inside there. If you're a person who loves carrying groceries, gunias and sacks, then also easy entry and exit is possible courtesy of this Hyundai Tucson. Again, if you want much more space, then the rear seats can actually fold flat. 60-40 configuration. If you have oblong or tall objects, you can actually put the right-hand side of the seat, so you're able to accommodate anything like a fridge, a wardrobe, right here in this Hyundai Tucson. So the practicality is very important, and obviously you have plenty of space. It has a full-size tire underneath over here, and then you have plenty of spaces where you can actually put your jack, your valuables, and so many other stuff that are right here in the Hyundai Tucson. But it's time for us to head out on the road and feel the power of this 2-liter turbo diesel, then go off-road and find out whether the Hyundai Tucson is what you need. So guys, today we are sampling this high-powered diesel, the Hyundai Tucson, the high-spec version. And remember, on cars with Big Boy Trev, we actually tested the petrol version. Now this one is special. Why? Because it has a lot of power and a lot of enhancements courtesy of this diesel engine. So let's talk about this particular diesel engine. So it's a 2-liter, 16-valve, 4-cylinder, turbocharged diesel that produces 180 horsepower and 402 newton meters of torque, which on sport mode, put my foot down like this, it pulls all the way to 4,000 very easily, because this turbocharger has a variable geometry turbo that allows this car to spool from as low as 1700 RPM all the way to 3,500, making it have a very good torque band. So mid-grunt is amazing, and all that power is sent to the 4 wheels courtesy of a 6-speed automatic transmission, and of course paired to that is a H-track all-wheel drive system that distributes torque to all 4 wheels depending on the situation, and that is something you're going to test out later as you do the off-road segment. Now this particular gearbox allows this car to exploit the full potential of this 180 horsepower and still be able to return to you a fuel economy figure of about 12.1 kilometers to the liter, which is very good for a diesel, because on a full tank, probably at 62 liters, you'll probably be able to get 400-500 kilometers with ease. And that's the beauty of driving this Hyundai Tucson. Now, this particular platform that we are driving on is also based on the Santa Fe, Elantra, and many others within the Hyundai lineup. And of course, it's built on a scalable architecture. Basically, when I say scalable architecture, all these brands have similar attributes. So the chassis is lengthened and expanded to accommodate such a body. Now, that again also helps in cost and bringing the development of cost down, because remember, at the end of the day, most of these car companies normally use these chassis to ensure that they still retain their structural rigidness, and of course the safety aspect of this particular vehicle is enhanced. Now, speaking of handling and safety, this particular vehicle in front actually has McPherson struts, and at the back, multi-link suspension that helps this car to be planted on any given surface. And of course, with the long stroke suspension with 172 millimeters of ground clearance, allows this car to do a little bit of light off-roading. So if you're the kind of person who likes to go outside Nairobi to your shamba, perhaps it's an Amaram area, then you'll be at ease, because also the H-track functionality, which is the all-wheel drive function, will ensure that you have maximum grip even during off-road situation. But in this category, we know that players and people who are buying in this category want safety for their family. So what safety features does this particular vehicle have? So you have a mixture of active and passive safety features. So from the active front is anything that helps you avoid an accident. So what am I talking about? Anti-lock braking system, vehicle stability control, which is the umbrella that controls ABS, brake assist, electronic brake force distribution, and of course many other things, traction control, that also ensures that you are on the right track. Now, in case all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on a 5-star safety rating on this particular body cell that dissipate impact energy away from the passenger cell to ensure that you and your family are quite safe while in the Tucson. Everybody wants a safe car, and the Tucson definitely has its marks up there with the best of the rest. But the question still remains, is it able to do a bit of off-roading? Can it be able to match the likes of the Mazda CX-5, the Subaru Forester, the Nissan X-Trail, and of course the perennial king, the Toyota RAV4? We're going to just find out right now as we go for our off-road section, courtesy of Cars with Big Boy Trev. So we just veered off the highway into the beaten track, and are now trying to find out whether this particular vehicle is capable of doing a bit of light off-roading. Because remember, people in this particular category are not only looking for a vehicle that can do on-road, it can also do a bit of off-roading. So good grip, and of course you're able to do your off-road stuff when you're going to shags or to your shamba on the weekend. So what ingredients makes this Hyundai Tucson what it is, a vehicle that is so desirable? So let's start with its all-wheel drive system. It's called the H-track system, and it's paired to this 6-speed automatic. So basically, it's a system that is predominantly front-wheel drive, and all the power is sent to the front wheels depending on the situation, because it has quite a number of sensors. So in front, the power will be sent, especially on tarmac, it will sense the wheel speed, and you'll be able to, direct the power to the front wheels to encourage fuel efficiency. But if the situation deems it necessary for you to need a bit of grip at the rear wheels, say when you're in a loose surface, then the traction system will move it all the way to the rear wheels to ensure that you have maximum grip depending on it. And even during hard acceleration, the power will shift from the front to the rear to ensure that it gives you a sporty sort of feeling, especially on sport mode, and you'll be able to direct the torque all the way to the back, and that is so important. Now, ground clearance important in this particular category. You do have exactly 172 millimeters of ground clearance to ensure that you can get off the beaten track quite easily, because you're not going through boulders and things, but on off the beaten track it's not too bad. Again, the suspension up front, it's a long stroke McPherson strut standard. At the back you have multi-link rear suspension that allows this car to have good wheel articulation in some certain areas, and of course you're able to go through mud, rut, and rough surfaces with ease without getting stressed or anything. And that is so important because in this soft-roader category, remember, you have the likes of the Mazda CX-5, the Subaru Forester with its proven symmetrical all-wheel drive system, and all these brands have their own proprietary systems that allows them to go on the beaten track. But for Hyundai, it's all about efficiency and making sure that the vehicle has maximum traction at any given time. There are no selectable off-road modes, but the sensor, the system, actually controls all the traction that you need when you're doing some off-roading. And even the steering is not too bad. It's light, and of course during low speed you're able to go through the beaten track quite easily. You don't need to struggle and put steering wheel on different trajectories, because you're able to know where the nose is pointing at any given time. Amazing stuff courtesy of Hyundai. A bit of off-roading is good, but the question still remains, what's the value-driven proposition of this Hyundai? Is it able to fight with the likes of the Mazda CX-5 or the Volkswagen All-Space Tiguan or the Subaru Forester? The Hyundai Tucson can be imported from markets like Singapore and United Kingdom. Prices start from an average of Kenya shillings 2.5 to 3 million duty paid and drive home. In terms of maintenance, minor service costs about 20,000 shillings and major at about 35 to 40,000 Kenya shillings. Finally, these are the things that you need to look out for when you're searching to purchase a grey import Hyundai Tucson. Number 1, any signs of engine transmission sluggishness requires transmission service by a qualified garage. Number 2, malfunctioning air conditioning unit due to low levels of AC refrigerant. Number 3, any signs of engine knocking sound to a vehicle that's over 150,000 kilometers on the clock. It is caused by worn-out controls, which may lead to catastrophic engine failure in future. So you'll be rest assured that this particular car is in a very competitive stage, and what it's offering right now is absolute value for money. So do you reckon this particular car tickles your fancy? Send us your thoughts as seen on the social media notes below. We'll get back to you next week with their feedback. But before I sign out, how do you catch Cars Big Boy Trev in case you miss this particular episode? Well, we're on social media and on YouTube, so you can catch us with this letters CBBT_TV on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So you can send us your thoughts, your comments, and we'll try and improve the show as the days go by. But that's it. Thank you so much for joining us on Cars Big Boy Trev. This is Big Boy Trev. Drive safe and be safe. Join me as I do value for money. So guys, you've seen the full review of the Hyundai Tucson. It's tough, stylish, reliable, tons of technology, and of course, it's got the peppiness that everybody so desires from a 2-liter turbo diesel. But the question still remains, do you reckon it gives you absolute value for money? Well, let's start with the pricing. Now, this particular car is sold and serviced by Caetano Kenya, who are the official dealers of Hyundai right here in Kenya, and it goes for Kenya shillings 5.5 million, VAT inclusive, and also comes with a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty, whichever comes first. Now, I know you're wondering, who are the key rivals in this segment? Well, we've reviewed the Mazda CX-5 right here on Kazi Big Boy Trev, the Subaru Forester, the Toyota RAV4, the Nissan X-Trail, and many others that are in the soft roader game.